Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers.
Before the revolutionary iPhones and iPads that catapulted Apple into one of the biggest companies in the world, it all came back to this one commercial that broadcast Apple as a company. The commercial was considered the rebirth of Apple. It was short and iconic. The only thing that separated this commercial from any other commercial at the time was that it was not selling a product necessarily, but a vision. A paid homage to the crazy ones, the ones who were crazy enough to believe and achieve their dreams. But here's the question. Why is it always the crazy ones who do?
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
What is a good leader? To dissect this question, we will analyze the 1989 film Lean on Me, starring Morgan Freeman, to better understand leadership. So, what is a leader, and why do we need a leader? The film starts off by introducing Eastside High, a degrading and notorious school in the state of New Jersey for its incompetence in having the chaotic school under control. It was run by moms and drug dealers and created a hotspot for crime, and the purpose of the facility was to provide an education. The state of the school at the beginning of the movie clearly shows the lack of leadership, which was evident by the disarray within the school. The uncontrollable environment called for a leader, and that is none other than the new principal of the school, Mr. Clark.
Finally tonight, remembering an educator whose tough love made all the difference. Known for walking the halls of Eastside High's Clark, the famed principal credited for turning around a Patterson, New Jersey high school.
Carry this back, and any drug pusher I see trying to enter into those 35 doors, I'm gonna beat the hell out of them.
Based on a true story, Mr. Clark was known for his ruthless disciplinary methods towards staff and students alike. Because of this, everyone had contempt towards Mr. Clark's unconventional methods of discipline, expelling students and firing teachers from left to right.
And your students can't even get past the minimum basic skills test. That means they can hardly read.
The complete disregard of others created an intimidating environment under his authority. So why did he resort to these inhumane and ruthless methods? Mr. Clark had 1 year to turn around the school by cleaning up the mess he had walked into and raise the basic skill test scores. His strict disciplinary action was not because he wanted to, but because he needed to reinforce a shared vision and goal, which was to improve the school's learning environment for the students to have a proper education and learning experience. The purpose of a leader is not to just tell you what to do, but to remind you of the same vision and make sure everyone is on the same page. That is why, as the movie progresses, you see Mr. Clark in a much more positive state and less tense compared to the beginning of the movie. That is because near the end, he knew the vision he was trying to instill and knows that the students are practicing it routinely. It was not necessary for him to continue to use his aggressive tactics to achieve the vision because everyone already knew it by heart. See, the point of a leader is not to tell you what to do. His sole purpose is to remind everyone of the common vision. If everyone knew what they are supposed to do, then it would not be necessary for any authority or action. Not all leaders are perfect. Being a leader is also about setting an example. For instance, Mr. Clark's aggressive and belligerent nature made him completely forget the staffs around him that he is not the only person that is trying to make things right, but everyone is behind him on this as well. He forgot to acknowledge the people that worked for him, that are also the contributors to help reshape East High. In one of the scenes throughout the movie, Miss Levias was scolded by Mr. Clark out of frustration. Later that day, she stopped him in the corridors and projected her frustration, that he needed to acknowledge everyone and that the staffs cared about the students just as much as he does.
Because I had a father in the same kind of pain that makes you such a bastard, but I was wrong. Life is much too short. I will not endure you any longer.
You will not endure me.
And the only reason I haven't walked out and have the staff along with me is because those children need us here.
The children?
You're so busy talking discipline, you forget to educate.
Is that so?
Yes, that's so.
Then what the hell do you think I've been doing here all this time?
So you cleaned it up. That was the easy part.
That's the easy part.
Those children want to be helped. They have worked their hearts out for you, Joe. Done everything we've asked of them, believe what we told them. But I feel sorry for them. They're not ready to take that test.
What the hell are you talking about? I have done everything possible to get these teachers get a break.
It is always I. There are 300 teachers on the faculty here. You do not do it all alone.
I have to stay here and listen to these accusations.
You will listen. You will stand there and you will listen.
So, he listened and took it to heart as he addressed this the next day in the auditorium, thanking Mrs. Levias for reminding him of what was truly important. There is no workers without a leader, and there is no leader without workers. Both have to coexist. Although this is one way to listen in terms of self-reflection, there is another way to listen as well, and that is to help. Mr. Clark was approached by one of the students that he expelled as he was begging him to be accepted back and that he will redeem himself. So Mr. Clark saw this as an opportunity to admonish him and teach him a lesson.
The teacher is you don't know nothing. The problem with teenagers is you think you're smarter than people who've already been down the road you're traveling. You know what I'm trying to say to you, boy? Do you?
Yes, sir.
Did you tell your father I threw you out of school? Look at me, damn it!
No, sir.
Why not? No guts, huh? Afraid of what he's gonna say to you, aren't you? Now, why should I let you back into my school, Sams?
Because I'm going to do better, sir.
How?
By doing my work
What else?
and staying out of trouble.
What have you been thinking about all this time? Why should I believe you?
Mr. Clark demanded why he should give him a second chance, and so he listened at the end and gave him a chance for redemption. Sometimes being a great leader is not only about disciplining and enforcing disciplinary actions, but also to give second chances, because life is too short to call it quits when sometimes it just started. Giving second chances is sometimes not only about forgiveness, but to give someone an opportunity to begin and let them be able to turn over a new leaf. Although Mr. Clark is trying to save every student, that doesn't mean he could save everyone in reality. One of the most iconic scenes throughout the movie, Mr. Clark stopped Kid Ray as he noticed that he hasn't been present for a while. Kid Ray said that he was here to say his goodbye.
Shift this, okay?
But why did he come after you? You dealing drugs in my school?
Mr. Clark, we don't need to get into this. I just came here to tell you something. I don't think I'm cut out for this, school and all. I just came to say goodbye.
Dropping out on me.
I'm not dropping out, I'm moving on. I got
You'll be
things I
dead in a year, son. You hear what I'm saying? You'll be dead in a year.
Kid Ray shook his hand and said that he's cut out for this and left. The hurt that lingered in Mr. Clark's eyes as he vanishes in the distance buried a hidden sadness and guilt that he was not able to save everyone. Sometimes things don't always go the way you want it. Things happen, and different million things happen every second at the same time, and sometimes it is completely out of our control. That is why the hardest part of being a good leader is being able to accept failure. That is because even good leaders fail, and that's okay.